Central Florida is home to some of the most beautiful paddle runs that you can find anywhere. Adventure seekers travel here from all over the world to experience these amazing jungle-like creeks, crystal clear spring rivers, and wildlife-filled waterways. For many visitors, these are true bucket list, once-in-a-lifetime experiences that you simply can't get anywhere else. Over the years, we've had the chance to paddle many of these waterways ourselves, and today we're counting down some of our personal favorites. These are paddle runs that we've personally experienced here in Central Florida, so this isn't a complete list of every great place to paddle in the state. It's simply our favorite runs that we've had a chance to explore so far. First, we wanted to begin with an honorable mention that goes to the Kayak tour at Brevard Zoo, which is one of the most unique paddling experiences that you can find anywhere in Florida. This experience takes place in the Brevard Zoo in Melbourne, located along the Florida Space Coast about an hour east of Orlando. It's an honorable mention because we didn't actually get to experience it ourselves. We were just about to go on this tour when a massive rainstorm rolled in and all the kayak tours had to be canceled for the day. And even though we didn't get a chance to paddle it ourselves, we were able to watch a couple of groups head out on the water before the rain began, and it looked like such a fun and cool, memorable experience. Unlike traditional paddle runs through the springs or rivers, this adventure allows you to kayak directly through the zoo's animal habitats. As you paddle along the guided waterways, you'll glide past islands that are home to the animals like giraffes, rhinos, lemurs, and zebras, giving you a completely different perspective than you would get from walking around the zoo. If you're looking for a paddle experience that's completely different from the typical Florida springs or rivers, kayaking through the habitats at Brevard Zoo is definitely something worth checking out. Starting off our countdown at number 10 is Rainbow Springs, one of the most beautiful and crystal clear paddle runs in Central Florida. Rainbow Springs is located in Denellen, Florida, about an hour and a half northwest of Orlando near Ocala. We do have quite a few spring runs on this list, and one thing all of them have in common is just how incredibly clear the water is. As you paddle along the Rainbow River, you can easily see straight down to the bottom where the river is filled with swaying aquatic plants, limestone formations, and tons of fish swimming through the water. Rainbow Springs flows about 5.7 miles before connecting to the Withlacoochee River, and the paddle run itself is very beginner friendly. The river is wide, slow moving, and easy to navigate, making it a great option whether you're an experienced paddler or trying kayaking or paddleboarding for the first time. Canoe and kayak rentals are available at the Head Springs entrance, and public boat ramps are available just down at KP Hole Park. During the warmer months, this is a very popular tubing destination, so you'll likely see plenty of people floating down the river as well. The reason why this one is not higher on our list is that for much of the paddle, there are homes lining one side of the river, so while the water itself is absolutely stunning, it doesn't quite feel as remote and untouched as some of the other paddle runs that we'll be sharing in this video. That said, Rainbow Springs is still an incredibly beautiful place to get out on the water. Taking the number 9 spot on our list is Crystal River and Three Sister Springs, one of the best places in Florida to paddle alongside manatees. This paddle takes place on Crystal River, Florida, about an hour and a half north of Tampa along Florida's Nature Coast. What makes this paddle run so special is the opportunity to get incredibly close to one of Florida's most iconic animals. Crystal River is home to one of the largest wintering populations of West Indian manatees. And during the colder months, hundreds of these gentle giants gather in the warm spring water throughout the area. One of the highlights of paddling here is Three Sisters Spring, a stunning spring system known for its bright blue water and incredible clarity. During the summer months, kayakers and paddleboarders are allowed to paddle all the way into the spring itself, where you can float through the narrow spring channels and explore the beautiful water up close. However, during the winter manatee season, the spring is typically closed off to paddlers in order to protect the large number of manatees that gather there for the warmth. Even though you can't paddle directly into the spring during that time, you can still kayak throughout the surrounding waterways and often see manatees swimming by. Crystal River is also one of the few places in Florida where kayaking and swimming near manatees is actually permitted, as long as visitors follow the wildlife guidelines and give the animals plenty of space. Because of that, this area offers one of the most unique wildlife paddling experiences that you can have anywhere in the state. The reason why this one sits a little bit lower on our list is that much of the paddle takes place in a developed area with homes, docks, and boats along the river. So while the wildlife encounters here are incredible, it doesn't quite have the same untouched wilderness feel as some of the other paddle runs we'll be sharing. But if seeing manatees up close is on your bucket list, paddling around Crystal River in Three Sisters Spring is an experience that's hard to beat. We did our tour through Get Up and Go Kayaking, who are known for their crystal clear kayaks. We highly recommend them, and we'll include our affiliate link in the description below just in case you want to go check them out for your own trip. Next up at number 8 is Wachee Springs, a paddle run known for its incredibly vibrant blue water. Wachee Springs is located in Weeki, Florida, about an hour north of Tampa along Florida's nature coast. What makes this paddle run so special is the incredible color of the water. Wachee River is fed by a first magnitude spring, which means that the water is crystal clear and takes on this beautiful turquoise blue color as it flows downstream. As you paddle along the river, you'll often see fish swimming below your kayak, turtles resting along the banks, and occasionally even manatees drifting through the water. The scenery along the river is also beautiful, with dense vegetation lining the banks and plenty of shaded sections that make the paddle run feel peaceful and relaxing. The main reason this one isn't higher on our list is that the paddle run is relatively short. Today, the official paddle run for the state park ends at about 2.8 miles, where paddlers are picked up and shuttled back to the park. In the past, paddlers were able to continue all the way down to Rogers Park, which made the full run closer to 5.5 miles. However, the route was shortened in order to reduce stress on the river and to help protect this very popular waterway. Even though the paddle run itself is shorter than some of the others on our list, the stunning blue water and beautiful scenery make Wachee one of the most visually striking places to paddle in Central Florida. Coming in at number 7 on our list is Wekiwa Springs, one of the best places in Central Florida to experience a more wild and natural river paddle. Wekiwa Springs is located in Wekiwa Springs State Park, just north of Orlando in Apopka, Florida. Unlike many of the spring runs on this list that feature bright turquoise water, paddling here feels a little more like exploring a classic old Florida Blackwater river. The Wekiwa River winds through dense forests with towering trees, overhanging branches, and long stretches where it feels like you're paddling through quiet wilderness. Wildlife is also a big part of what makes this paddle special. As you move along the river, it's very common to see turtles sunning themselves on logs, birds wading along the shoreline, and if you're lucky, you might even spot deer, river otters, or an alligator gliding through the water. Another great thing about this paddle is that there's multiple ways to experience it. We launched directly from Wekiwa Springs State Park, where you can either paddle upstream to Rock Springs Run or head downstream along the Wekiwa River. There are also several outfitters and launch points along the river that allow you to explore different sections of the waterway. Depending on which direction you go, you can explore up to 10 miles of this spectacular waterway. Because the river winds through protected lands like the Wekiwa Springs State Park and Wekiwa River Basin, much of the surrounding area remains undeveloped, which really adds to this peaceful, untouched feeling while you're out on the water. If you are looking for a paddle run that feels quiet, scenic, and full of classic Florida wildlife, Wekiwa Springs is definitely one of the ones that are worth exploring. Coming in at number 6 on our list is Alexander Springs, another beautiful spring paddle in the Ocala National Forest. The Alexander Springs Recreation Area is located in Ocala National Forest, about an hour and a half north of Orlando, near the town of Astor, Florida. Like several of the paddles on this list, the water here is incredibly clear thanks to the natural spring that feeds the river. As you leave the large spring basin and begin paddling downstream, the water winds its way through dense forest and quiet stretches of wilderness, creating a peaceful and scenic paddle experience. The full paddle trail runs about 6.5 miles round trip, meaning that you'll paddle downstream for a few miles before turning around and heading back towards the spring. This was also the place where we tried paddleboarding for the first time, which made the experience a little bit more memorable. The calm, clear water made it a great place to get comfortable on the boards while enjoying this beautiful scenery around us. Some common wildlife sightings include wading birds like herons, turtles, and alligators. Between the crystal clear spring water and the quiet forest surroundings, Alexandra Springs is a fantastic place to get out on the water in the Ocala National Forest. Right in the middle of our list at number 5 is the Bioluminescence Kayak Tour, one of the most magical paddling experiences that you can have in Florida. These tours take place along Florida's Space Coast, primarily around the Merritt Island National Wildlife Refuge near Titusville, Florida, about an hour east of Orlando. What makes this paddle so incredible is the phenomenon known as bioluminescence, where tiny organisms in the water emit a glowing light when they're disturbed. As you paddle through the water at night, every movement that your kayak or paddle creates a burst of glowing blue light beneath the surface. Bioluminescence only occurs in a few places around the world, and one of the most popular locations in the United States to experience it is right here along Florida's Space Coast. The glowing waters are most commonly found in the Indian River Lagoon, Mosquito Lagoon, and Banana River, where these microorganisms thrive during the warmer months. It's an experience that almost feels surreal, like paddling through Pandora from the movie Avatar. It's truly a bucket list experience that everyone should experience at least once. Bioluminescence is typically visible in this area during the summer months, when the warm water temperatures allow these microorganisms to thrive. The tours take place at night and is best experienced during a new moon when the light is at its lowest. We also did this tour through Get Up and Go Kayaking and their crystal clear kayaks. Being able to see the glowing water beneath the kayak made the experience even more memorable. We had a great time with them, and we'll include our affiliate link in the description below if you're interested in checking out one of their tours for yourself. If you're looking for something completely different from the traditional Florida spring paddle, a bioluminescent kayak tour is truly a one-of-a-kind experience. Our number 4 spot goes to Silver Springs, one of the most famous and historic paddle runs in Florida. Silver Springs State Park is located just east of Ocala, Florida, about an hour and a half northwest of Orlando. What makes this paddle run so special is the incredible clarity of the water and jungle-like surroundings. Silver Springs is one of the largest artesian springs in the world. And as you paddle along the Spring River, you can easily see straight down to the bottom where fish swim through the crystal blue water and long strands of aquatic vegetation sway with the current. The river itself flows for about 5 miles before eventually connecting to the Ocklawaha River, and the paddle is mostly a relaxing downstream journey as you make your way away from the main spring basin. Wildlife is also one of the biggest highlights of paddling here. It's very common to see turtles, birds, fish, and even the occasional alligator along the river. But one of the most unusual things about Silver Springs is that it's also home to a population of wild rhesus macaque monkeys that live along the riverbanks. These monkeys were originally introduced to the area decades ago during a Jungle Cruise style attraction, and over time they established a wild population that still lives in the forest along the river today. Spotting them while paddling is always an exciting and unexpected part of the experience. Silver Springs is easily one of the most memorable paddle runs that you can experience in Central Florida. Coming in at number 3 on our list is Ichetucknee Springs, one of the most pristine and protected spring paddles in Florida. Ichetucknee Springs is located in Ichetucknee Springs State Park near Fort White, Florida, about 2 hours north of Orlando and just south of Lake City. Ichetucknee Springs is fed by 8 major springs, which creates some of the clearest water that you'll find anywhere in the state. As you paddle along the river, the water is so transparent that you can easily see fish swimming beneath you, long strands of aquatic grass waving in the current, and the sandy limestone bottom of the river. What makes this paddle especially unique is how carefully the park manages and protects the river. Only a limited number of paddlers are allowed on the river each day, which helps preserve the natural environment and keeps the experience feeling peaceful and uncrowded. The river itself flows for about 6 miles through a dense forest, and much of that surrounding land remains completely undeveloped. Because of that, the entire paddle run feels incredibly natural and untouched, almost like stepping back in time to what Florida's waterways may have looked like hundreds of years ago. Wildlife is also very common along the river, and as you paddle downstream, it's not unusual to see turtles, birds, fish, and occasionally a deer or otters along the banks. Between the crystal clear water, the protected natural environment, and the peaceful surroundings, Ichetucknee River offers some of the most beautiful and untouched paddling experiences in Florida. At number 2 on our list is the Emerald Cut of Rock Springs Run, which may as well be one of the most beautiful paddle runs on this entire list. The Emerald Cut is located in Apopka, Florida, just northwest of Orlando along Rock Springs Run. What makes this paddle run so famous is the incredibly clear water and the stunning tree canopy that arches over the river. As you paddle through this section of Rock Springs Run, the water glows with a vibrant emerald color, with massive cypress and hardwood trees leaning out over the water, creating what feels like a natural tunnel through the forest. It's easily one of the most photographed paddle locations in Florida, and once you see it in person, it's easy to understand why. The combination of crystal clear spring water, lush vegetation, and winding turns in this river make this section feel almost magical. However, the reason why this one didn't quite make the number 1 spot on our list is simply because of how popular it's become. On busy days, especially during the warmer months, this section of the river can get very crowded with kayakers and paddlers. Another thing to keep in mind is that this paddle is an out and back route, meaning that you'll need to paddle back the same way you came. Since the water flows from the spring in Kelly Park, you'll paddle up against the current as you make your way up the Emerald Cut, and then turn around when you hit the edge of Kelly Park and flow downstream back down. Even with these challenges, the Emerald Cut is still one of the most breathtaking places to paddle in Central Florida, and absolutely deserves a spot near the top of this list. And taking the number 1 spot on our list is Juniper Springs, one of the most adventurous and unforgettable paddle runs in all of Florida. Juniper Springs is located in the Ocala National Forest, Florida, about an hour and a half north of Orlando. What makes this paddle run so unique is just how narrow and winding the river becomes as you make your way through the forest. Unlike some of the wider rivers on this list, Juniper Springs twists and turns constantly, with dense vegetation closing in around the water and creating the feeling that you're paddling through the jungle. The run itself is about 7 miles long and follows Juniper Creek as it winds through the Ocala National Forest. Along the way, you'll navigate tight turns, overhanging branches, and occasionally even fallen trees that require a little bit of maneuvering to get around. Because of these obstacles, this paddle run feels much more like a true adventure compared to some of the other runs on this list. It's not just a relaxing float down the river, it does require some navigation, a bit of effort, and a willingness to embrace the unexpected twists and turns along the way. At the same time, the scenery here is absolutely stunning. The narrow creek, the thick forest canopy, and the crystal clear water create an experience that feels incredibly wild and untouched. Between the adventurous nature of the paddle, the beautiful scenery, and the feeling like you're exploring deep into the Florida wilderness, Juniper Springs easily earns our top spot as our favorite paddle run in Central Florida. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to get more ideas for unique experiences in Florida. Also, huge shout out to our channel members. You guys help keep this channel going, and we couldn't appreciate you more. If you're looking for more of our theme park content, be sure to check out our second channel called The Q Life, where you can find our Disney and Universal videos and guides. If you would like to see each of these kayak runs in more detail, then you'll want to check out the playlist that just popped up on the screen. We'll see you over there.